Well, because normally before we would start these, it would start here.
Yeah.
Put it here again, maybe. Maybe we should decide.
Well, it's going to go back to there.
But it opened up the top.
But it's going to go back to there.
I know that. Everybody, you can tell them
Hello,
about this.
everybody.
This is Josh, the producer, segment producer. You do a lot around here, and but you're never in front of the lights and the camera. But
indeed, I am not. No.
You are right
big
now
reveal.
because you've got some big news.
Yes, we will be moving to a new location, which is exactly 3 feet in this direction.
It's not a new location.
No, it's not.
It's
no.
actually the original set for
It is, yeah.
What did we call it then? A podcast project.
Podcast project.
Yeah, JRDiG's podcast project.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know what it was.
No, we didn't. We weren't really sure which direction it was going in. I mean, you have friends in music and comedy and sports and all sorts of stuff, and we didn't really know what would take off and which direction it would go.
You just knew I would be doing it, hosting it.
Yeah.
And thanks for the invitation way back when.
Oh man,
I'm having
great.
a blast.
I do not regret it. It's been nothing but fun, man. it's been a roller coaster.
That's probably not true.
No, it is true. It is true. It is absolutely true. Yeah.
And so your idea just recently, and that's why I said we'll just come up here and you can say it, was to not only to say we're going back to the original set, but then you said what we should maybe take the original pilot kind of sports and stuff.
Yeah, the one with Stephen Brunt.
Yeah, so my pal, one of our experimental things that we did, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know if we were going to, have cameras and lights. We didn't know it would morph into all of this.
Even now, is it a podcast? Is it a TV show?
I don't know. If you don't know, then
I'm the producer and I don't know. So.
Right. So
probably should, but I don't.
Yeah, no, or at least fake it. But that's what I love about you is that you. I don't love you, but I like you a lot.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Strong word.
Yeah,
but well, it is. People.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's another. This is. You know that I derail things, and then usually you're over there giving
I know.
We have a whole
series. I need a stick with a finger on the end that I can wag.
We have a whole series of signals now and everything to tell me when I'm derailing the podcast, wherever this is. So I'm trying not to do it now and stay on point, which is to say, or for you to say, this is going to be our new old set again soon.
Yes, our new old set is what
and
it's going to be. But we will be probably changing some of the decor and rejigging it. To make it.
This is all good news, though, right?
It's great. Yeah. No, it's exciting. It's bigger. It's the initial space, but we're gonna sort of.
And it's because we're doing another bigger set is being built. We're not allowed to talk about that.
We're not allowed to talk about that yet.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, we are. We can. It's fine. But
okay, we'll save it for another day because that's really big news.
Yeah,
the thing that's being built for us to do something else.
Yeah.
But
so stay tuned for that.
The original pilot.
Yeah.
I guess it's fair to say that's what it was.
I mean, it was the first one we did.
A chat I had with Stephen Brunt, who's an acclaimed author, sports journalist, lover of beer, listener of music, great dude.
Yeah.
And one of the most professional, incredible sports talk hosts that I know.
Yeah.
And celebrated in this country. And luckily came on this to have a chat with me. Mm-hmm. And then what happened was that nothing really happened with it, right? We didn't do anything with it. This was quite a while ago now that we shot that, and we ended up shooting it. And we didn't know what to do with it, but it was the inspiration for what we now call sports and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's accurate.
So that's fair to say it was the pilot episode.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think it was a different set, but it was fundamentally the root of everything. Right?
And then you said, let's put it out there and make sure that people know that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do that now. And what I'm going to say is, in this original pilot episode of Sports and Stuff, you're going to find out that I'm a prolific mind. A genius. I think Brunt might have called me a genius. This whole thing with Kawhi Leonard, he just put on a Clippers uniform for the first time not long ago. So now that everybody gets to relive how they really feel about Kawhi, going to LA and playing for the Clippers.
I remember that. Yeah.
And at the time, though, this was quite a while ago. Like I said, people were still uncertain. I knew. I had
like a sixth sense.
Not a sixth sense. I had real information.
Oh, okay.
And because there's certain things I know, And as we continue to do sports and stuff, I will reveal more things I know about sports and stuff. And this is proof that next time I say I know something,
You better believe it. Yeah.
just believe me, people. Believe
So
me.
we're going to start a betting pool.
We could do that.
Yeah.
This is proof, though, that the first thing that I predicted and knew for a fact, even Brunt was not willing to go down the road that I was so clearly willing to travel. In the pilot episode of Sports and Stuff, which looked and sounded a lot like this. Is that like a good intro to it, or did you want to say something else?
No, I mean, you're the host. I think that's a good...
All right.
Take it away.
Here it is.
Yeah. Enjoy. And make sure you subscribe.
We are recording audio and shooting video at Digital Canary Studios here in Hamilton, Ontario, and sitting beside me, author, radio personality, sports journalist, drinker of beer, lover of music, my pal Stephen Brunt. And we're videotaping this too, so it's to camera left is my pal Stephen Brunt.
Hey, man. I like that camera left, camera right thing. That's
Well,
excellent.
it makes you think that I know what I'm doing.
It does. Actually, yeah.
Like, if you're
absolutely it
impressed
does. Yeah, no, I'm totally convinced now. Thanks.
I thought of a big, I always struggle with how to open these things, whether we should walk through the door, there's like a door there, or if we should just sit here and start. Do you have any?
Well, I think we're here now. Right?
Yeah, okay.
We're here now. This is it.
Did you want to throw some sort of tantrum and do it your way?
No, I think this is good. I think, I apologize for being hot and sweaty and having wearing a hat.
I apologize. It's pretty, the lights and everything make it hot in here, right?
But I was, you've interrupted my car packing today.
And I didn't make it entirely clear.
No, you did not. No.
That it was, we're going to have cameras. I'm like, come by, hang out for a little bit.
Yes.
And then carry on.
I would have had a shower. But anyway, it's here. I'm au naturel. This is it, man.
I like
this is it. Yeah, this is it.
I think that this is how you look.
This is how I look on the day I'm packing my car.
Yeah.
Yes, to get out of here. So that's exactly right.
Because you're on your way literally to PEI, right?
Newfoundland.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, Newfoundland.
Is that a bad thing to say when you get confused?
It's different.
Yeah.
They're very different islands, yeah. But I'll be heading for Newfoundland in a couple of days and to the summer digs. And I love this time of year. I love the countdown.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. It's time to go.
Because that's where you're from, right?
No, we just kind of stumbled in. That's 0 for 2 there. Great, the crack research team. We just stumbled into it 20 years ago. We were out there and had kind of had an epiphany and did something impulsive and bought a little place and then tried to figure out how the hell we were going to get back out there. But it's been a great part of our lives for since our kids were little and
wow.
Got a lot of great friends out there and involved and stuff. And we're out there for about 2 months of the year, and it's a good balance. Like I'm always happy to come back to Hamilton. At the end of it, it's time to come back.
Where are you from then?
I'm from here.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm from Hamilton. I was born on the mountain. I lived on a mountain, West 28th Street. That's where I, as a kid, and I was born here. Yeah, like Tom Wilson and I lived. I think we figured out like 56 blocks apart on the mountain.
Really?
But it was like 2 different universes. Like I didn't have like the kind of psychedelic Tom Wilson neighborhood. Like my neighborhood was pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
As I recall.
Because I always hear you say that, and I don't know. I just thought it was just something cool to say that you're from here. Like, because a lot of people in Hamilton say that.
Yeah,
now.
there's a lot of that going around these days. I know.
So, and I'm not accusing you of that, but I thought you'd been here for a long time. But I really got the impression that you were from out east.
No, I'm from here.
Just because you're so nice and
that's
likable.
Nice. Well, Hamilton people are nice, but
they're not all nice though.
No, that's true. They're
like
not
the
all
one
nice.
thing that everybody in this raw Hamilton thing, because I'm a Hamilton guy too.
Yeah.
That's how we know each other, right? From being from here.
Yep.
And we could get into a whole now it's gonna. I had an opening planned.
Oh well, this is it. You've done it.
No, but I wanted to say, it's tough to know what to do. Like, I did a bunch of research, okay? I started doing research and questions that I was going to ask you, because this is kind of a big deal for me. Did I give you that impression?
No. It's
like, you're an iconic, in my opinion, this is Stephen Brunt, iconic sports journalist in this country. You are critically acclaimed and beloved, and you have lots of fans of your writing, right? Your books.
Yeah. Some of it's just hanging longevity, right? If you hang around long enough, people start saying nice stuff about you eventually, right?
But you're pretty good at it though, too.
Well, I've been real lucky. I've had a really nice run. Unplanned, but it's
for
been,
kind of
it's been
decades now.
Yeah, no, I've been in sports for a long time. I didn't start there, but I've been in sports since 1988. I think it's the first when I started writing the column for the Globe. So it's a long time.
So I love sports and I love media. So I guess why I got to know you well before I met you was just because you're like I did enjoy reading you and I don't know, your take on it was. I don't know, modern, if that's like not maybe now so much or whatever, because it's like times are changing, especially. But over the last decades, I remember always just thinking, this guy has got a good. You were.
Oh, thanks.
I don't know how to say this. Like I said, I'm struggle between doing this research that I was going to do and then having all these questions, or just inviting my pal Brunt here and then we chat.
I think that's better.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, so let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay, because it'll work out. We'll get to the same place.
And then for anybody listening or watching, what happens is after you leave and then you head out east, I spend the next 48 hours thinking about all the things we didn't talk about and I didn't ask you, and then I'm filled with regret
we'll
and
do
remorse.
it next time.
Yeah.
You know where to find me. Like I'm down the road, right? I'm just down the street. It's easy.
But you're gone though for 2 months.
I am gone for 2 months. Yeah.
So thank you very much though for doing this, because I know you are on your way and I appreciate it.
No, my pleasure, man. Anytime.
I take it as you have so much respect for me.
I have a lot of fun with you. I have a lot of fun with you. I've enjoyed. There tends to be a lot of fun when you're around.
That's so great that you're stopped short of saying that you respect me. But
I have a lot of fun with you.
See, but that's it. I think that there's a sincerity in you and an honesty that comes out. And when you talk about sports and your take on it, maybe that's what it is why I like you so much.
Oh, well, thanks. I don't know. I figured out my own way to do it a long time ago. I didn't come into sports. My intention wasn't to be a sports writer, so maybe that's why I didn't write like other sports writers did. But I had to find a way that I could do it that was honest and that was honest to me and kind of what I was interested in. I wanted to kind of keep my interest level up, because otherwise it's just somebody won and somebody lost, and eventually you get bored. Right? It's like, again, I love sports, but and it was at a time when the business was changing and there were some people were approaching it in a different ways, and I kind of looked to I love the older sports writers. Like I worship guys like Milt Donnell, or Trent Frayne, or Jim Coleman, or those guys who I read growing up, and I got to work beside them later on. Those were my idols, but the world they grew up in was, it really has changed. The business changed a lot, and look, obviously the business I was in is almost non-existent. Newspaper, sports writing,
right? Because that was your business, right?
That was the Globe for 27 years.
Yeah, wow.
Not all of it in sports, but that job as the general columnist, sports columnist for a big newspaper where you covered everything. You went to the Olympics and you went to the Super Bowl and the Grey Cup and the World Series and all of those events. It was a great job. But people were starting to cover it, in a more kind of a real world way. Like they suddenly had to deal with labor stuff or drugs, so that the kind of straightforward hero narrative you couldn't do it anymore. Really, I didn't think. And I looked at guys like Robert Lipsyte, who's one of my heroes at the New York Times, and George Vesey, some of those kind of writers who were changing the way sports writing. So I love them. I love Milton and those guys and the way they did it. And they're great writers, a lot of them, like pure writers. But there was just people were trying to kind of attach it to the real world more. And I think I did too much of that, actually, to be honest, in the early days at the Globe.
Really?
But it was the
too much of the real world.
Yeah, I think I overplayed it. I think I overplayed the kind of the seriousness thing, and I think I was trying to be too different. And it took me a while to kind of relax into the gig and just let it happen a little more. But
really,
yeah. But it's been.
When did you come to that understanding?
I think pretty early on that I thought that I'm not sure the columns were very good, and.
But they had to be, because your career has been very successful.
Yeah, but I kind of the job at the Globe kind of opened up. I got the job. I'm not sure anybody was sure what I was going to be, and I wasn't sure what I was going to be.
Then how did you get the job? How would they hire you? Where did you come from?
Well, I was at the Globe, but I was in news at that point. And before that, I'd been in arts, writing about music.
Right.
So that's where I came into the business.
Oh,
and
really?
The sports thing, yeah. And the sports thing was just, kind of came later. So the job opened up. Trent Frayne retired, or he was retired, because in those days when you were 65, you had to retire.
Sure.
And they didn't really have an obvious successor in the department, and I applied for the job, and I got it.
Wow.
So that's how I started sports writing. I wrote some sports features before that, but I hadn't really done it before.
Have you written any music since the early days when that's what you did?
I used to do a little bit of jazz writing for the Globe on the side, just for fun in the summer.
Really?
Like for festivals, I would be kind of the second guy when Mark Miller was their jazz critic for years. And I would occasionally go out and do something just for fun. But like when I was in school in London at Western, I was the rock critic for the London Free Press for 3 years.
Wow.
So everything that came through town.
Yeah.
But it's I was in the arts department of the Globe, but there wasn't. It's a funny job. Like you can't age in that job.
Right.
As much as I still am a bit, pretty passionate about music, that's a young person's gig.
Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. The aging rock critic is not pretty. That's not a pretty animal, right? It's.
No, that's probably true.
Yeah. So I kind of, a lot of late nights and.
But there's other ways to write about music.
There are, yeah.
Like you're pretty. I know one thing. Maybe people don't know this, but I certainly do. That your passion for music. I think that's one of the things that connects us.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely, it is. Yeah, and I love, and I've kind of rediscovered my love for it.
You go to way more live music than young people do.
I go to a lot of live shows. Yeah.
You do, though.
Yeah, I go to a lot of shows, and I've got a lot of friends in the business, and I really like it. I don't like staying out till 2 a.m. as much as I used to.
Right.
But I love going to live shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. And I'm like my tastes aren't cutting edge, but they're contemporary.
Right.
I'm not just listening to boomer stuff.
Yeah.
I know, I know what my tastes are, and I
You
know
know
what kind of stuff
everybody.
I like. Well, I
That's
don't know
new.
Well, I don't know.
Every time I talk, you know more about music, and I know quite a bit about music, and I have a lot of friends who are in music, and
I know some folks, and I do try to kind of actively listen,
Yeah.
And there's stuff like I'm not an authoritative hip hop guy. There's stuff I listen to, but
Is there any hip hop you like?
Yeah, there is. But like I go back to I remember the other day I was walking up Yonge Street past where there used to be a record store right below Carlton, which was kind of the first place that sold that stuff. But it was more as dance music, right? But I remember buying the long play version of The Message in that store,
Oh, yeah?
right? At a time, and I was kind of a funk guy, and I liked that kind of stuff, and it was kind of an interesting, kind of a natural transition. But I remember that store being really exotic,
Right.
because that was the first place that they were selling that kind of stuff.
Right. There's a cool thing on Netflix right now. I mean, everything's on Netflix, I guess. Not everything, actually. So sometimes I can never find what I want. It's, what is it called? Does anybody know that's like a history of hip hop?
Yeah.
Or no, what is it called? You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it, but I will.
Did you watch
on a rainy
Netflix?
day? On a rainy day this summer in Newfoundland, I'll watch it.
It's the something of the hip hop. Oh, damn. But it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So when you say about The Message, it goes right back to the basic roots, and I'm about halfway through it right now. And then there's a whole episode just on those guys.
Yeah.
And it's
Grandmaster
very
Flash,
well done. Yeah.
No, and I love I'm the political part of hip hop.
Yeah.
That's the part that I'm interested in, intrigued
Right.
by. The Public Enemy. Again, it's ancient history, right?
Yeah.
But and NWA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm less into the kind of the dollar signs and the bling and that. To me, a lot of that stuff seems empty.
Yeah.
But a lot of pop music's empty anyway, right? It's not. It's just. Anyway,
Yeah.
that would be my preference.
When
But-
it came-
but I don't even. I want to pretend. I'm not sitting listening
like
to hip hop all
two
day.
of us.
but I am listening to music every day, right? I do listen to music every day.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, part of why I've continued to enjoy your career and listen to it, and it's brought a lot of sports knowledge to me, is because I listen to a lot of sports radio.
Yes.
But because I listen to so much sports radio these days and talk radio, even more than Stern now. I'm kind of off Stern. I have been for a couple of years now. And just sports radio, I end up listening to way less music. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost like you only have so much time to listen to things, right?
Yeah. I listen to a lot of talk in the car. I
Yeah?
do. I listen to a lot of talk. I do listen to Stern.
Yeah.
I
still?
learn well. You know what? Among other things, it's like a master class in broadcast.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He's the best there's ever been.
I felt when Artie left, the show changed, and I slowly started to become not less of a fan. And then I think, did I not pay for my Sirius satellite for a month or something? And then I got it again. And sometimes it's amazing, that little shift in my habits, my listening habits, and then all of a sudden, I don't listen to it as much anymore.
Yeah,
Plus,
and there's and there's parts of it that are not going to be to everybody's taste for sure, and that's what people think of when they think of Stern.
Yeah.
But he's the greatest interviewer in radio history.
for sure.
There's
Who's
no
the second best?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I do.
Who?
Well, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
No, but I mean, I'm a huge Letterman fan.
yeah. Oh no, Letterman was, but that's a different thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
Is
Stern,
it?
Stern. Well, because Stern does the 45-minute sprawl, right?
Right.
It's a different art to try and do it in 5 minutes.
For
on
sure.
television with cameras,
Of
where
course.
you can't.
Okay.
That's it's
Harder, maybe.
It's different,
make it
because
interesting
I've
and
done
fun.
both, and it's a very different thing to do it on camera.
Yeah.
It's a very different thing to do it on camera because you have to be completely in the moment and connected to the person, but you also have to have all that stuff in the back of your head, and you have to have the time in the back of your head, and you have to understand how you look and how you're presenting
Yeah.
yourself, and radio's way looser. I know
Yeah.
Stern's on TV as well, but
Yeah.
it's looser. It's a looser medium, and especially with him, he's not even having to hit post for commercials,
Right,
right?
yeah.
He can just keep going.
Yeah.
But I love the way just love listening to him create a world
Yeah.
in radio.
See, I felt like there is literally, I could talk to you probably for a week straight on so many things. My mind is going crazy wanting to. I usually derail these interviews and talks, and then I'm trying not to.
We don't have to be linear here.
No,
it's okay.
I know, but I also want to be respectful of the fact that you've got a wife who's going to yell at me if you, if you
we
don't
want
get
that.
in the car on time.
We don't want that. Yeah.
So I want to, but there's so many things, and I hope we get to do this more maybe
Sure.
because we can dive into all this stuff. But I felt like, I don't know, there's at some point you talk about a lot of these writers that you're named there, and I don't know a lot of them. I'm going to be truthful. That's the corker. That's the shitty thing about like life or the media. And I spent my adult life in it, trying to stay in it. Now I don't know. I guess this is my lame attempt to try to get back into it in some way. But I thought I don't know. He just the fame and the fortune and the hot new wife and that life was obviously very different than the one that made him actually famous.
Yes.
Which was the struggling, geeky,
Angry
out of
too.
place.
And angry.
Sure.
Yeah, really angry. Yeah.
Like legitimately though, because there's a difference. These guys, I don't know if I'm jump back into sports. I would love to hear your take on some of these sports guys who, these hot takes and these things, these controversies. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well.
How do people listen to this stuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
With absolute, complete,
it works
no
for guys. Like
sincerity.
I got nothing. If guys figure out a shtick that works, then it works for them.
People do.
God,
They
God
get
love
all
'em.
that. What's his name there on ESPN? What's his name?
Stephen Smith.
Yeah,
Stephen
like
Smith?
isn't he?
Yeah.
He's mostly ridiculous.
It's worked for him.
And that's what I mean.
It's worked for
But
him.
don't you find that frustrating though?
No,
Look, as somebody in this.
No, I just think
his
it's different. I
industry?
just think it's different, and I think there's obviously a market for it. Like Jim Rome invented a thing, right?
Yeah, right.
Jim Rome's not to my taste.
Yeah.
I've done shows where Jim Rome came on after us on the radio when I was at the team briefly. He was
Right.
part of it. I got no interest in listening to Jim Rome, but he invented a thing.
Yeah.
That people like,
Right.
And again, he kind of created this community of people and
Right.
insider stuff, and everybody felt like they're part of a club.
Yeah.
It worked for him. I don't care about him, but that's I'm probably the wrong demo.
Yeah.
It's the guys at TSN now in Overdrive. They got a demo, right? They've figured out how to do kind of a bro show about the Leafs.
Who is that?
Brian Hayes and Jeff O'Neill and.
About the Leafs?
Yeah, they do. They've hit a specific.
What do you think
sweet
about
spot.
JD Bunkus and Ben Ennis? Do you know who they are?
Yeah, they precede me on the radio every day when I'm there.
They what?
They're on before us, right on the radio.
Oh yeah,
right?
I know.
Yeah.
Do you like them?
Yeah, they're figuring it out.
Would you say if you didn't like them?
Yeah, I would.
Would
Yeah.
you?
Well, I'm not gonna. They're figuring it out. And I'll tell you something. During this basketball-heavy run we've gone through,
been great for them.
they're good. They're really good basketball guys.
Yeah.
And
I discovered them about I don't know, 5 months ago or so.
yeah,
Literally, I don't know. I living under a rock. I'm just down at Long Point these days, going to kind of
Yeah.
hidden away from the world for the last 5 years, and starting to come out of that cocoon and getting back into the real world. And
so discovering lots of things, I guess, again. And it's funny because I wasn't sure, because they're younger than us, and I perceived the one guy to be like smarmy and kind of like Ben. I think Ben Ennis is. I perceived him to be. I never met him as smarmy and kind of almost arrogant, and I wasn't sure if I liked that. And the other JRDiGS, he's incredibly informed and has his take on it I found interesting, and I was trying to decide if I liked them or not. I usually listen to you on the show, the primetime show afterwards. So then I started listening to that a little bit before, and then I tweeted out. I don't know why, like I rarely do that. You do none of that.
I
right?
do none of that. Yeah.
I want to get into that too.
Yeah.
And whether that's a mistake by you or not. But I tweeted out, I wonder if I should like these guys, this good show. And I tweeted out, and then one of the first people to tweet back was JRDiGS. And he said, if this is the real JRDiGS, I don't know who the hell would ever want to pretend to be me, trust me. But I said, he goes, if this is the real JRDiGS, I grew up watching your show on TV. And he didn't go as far as to say he liked it, but he said he watched it on TV. He goes, fair play. Like, I think you should give our show a chance, like I did yours. That seems fair to me.
That's a good response.
Yeah, and flattery will get you everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I like this guy. I like this guy. I don't know if I like the other guy yet, but I've listened to them so I started listening more, trying to decide if I liked them, and wanted to start to download their podcasts and take up some of my day, because it is an investment in your time, right? When you decide who you're listening to, Stern or those guys.
Guys got to figure out their own. You're not going to like everybody, and you're not supposed to like everybody. So, but
have you ever been on their show?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And
did they flatter you and stuff? Do they revere you?
There's a little bit of back and forth, but I think that I'm the elder, right? So I go on as the elder there. But look, you're not supposed to like everybody, and. There's a huge performance aspect in the medium, right? So again, if guys create a kind of a larger character, a larger version of themselves, or they're trying to outrage people, like I get it, and it's part of the gig sometimes. It's not my brand. It's off brand for me.
Yeah.
And I know that, but I understand why guys are trying to get noticed and trying to create there's a radio or television version of themselves.
It's risky though, right? Because if it doesn't work, you're just an a-hole.
Yeah, you can be, but there is a place in sports. You can be that guy. You can make people mad. They'll come at you because they're mad at you,
right.
and provoke people. I think you have to. The one thing I did, and again, I learned this watching McCown over the years. I think you need to undercut that with some humanity. Like if they really do just think you're a dick, that doesn't wear well. You have to undercut it a little bit. McCown had this kind of blustery personality, but if you actually listen to him over time, that's not the character.
Right.
The character kind of undercuts that a little bit.
Right.
Where he can laugh at himself a little bit,
sure.
or somebody else will laugh at him a little bit, and it softens that character. So the reaction isn't he's a jerk. The reaction is, oh, that's him.
Yeah.
That's and I've been listening to him for 20 years, and I know he's all worked up, but. It's really important to because I'll tell you one thing about radio, and that's different than other media, is because people listen to you. It's a daily thing. It's a habit thing. And again, I'm talking about a medium that's probably going to die, terrestrial radio, where you set your presets and you're in the car and you listen to the same thing every day. Most people don't. They set.
Yeah.
And sometimes they set it when they were 20 and they stopped when they were dead. You gotta wear well with people over time.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Again, you can provoke them and all of that, but you don't really want them to hate you, to force you to change the dial. Because once you change, you're never coming back.
Right. Yeah.
So radio is about, you learn something about people over time, 5 days a week for however much time. People come to understand who you are in radio in a way that more than in TV, because TV is blocked out performance to a camera, short amount of time.
Yeah.
A lot of empty space in radio that you've got to fill.
Yeah.
And people get to know you, or get to know the character. So, in that sense, if you're really somebody that people don't, if you're repellent, that's bad. But you can be provocative, you can anger people, they can disagree with you, but you always have to kind of sweeten it with a little bit of humanity. Yeah. And again, McCown at his best could do that.
Yeah, I think I felt the last, and what do I know? You know the man better, and spent a long time. How long were you on that show?
I off and on. I've been with him, not, and again, doing different stuff. Like
It was kind of a
casting.
controversial thing at one point, right? You left the show, and it became like a.
Yeah, there was it had nothing to do with me. But I was off, and then I was brought back.
Yeah.
And I left to go and work at the team for a little while when the Chum had the startup, and I went and worked there for a little while too. So
He seemed bitter about it, if you ask me.
well, it's
It's my take from a listener, and if I'm going down a path you don't want to go to, I guess you
That's
just
okay.
drink your water and let me vent. But he seemed in the last few years. Man, we could just talk about this for an hour, but he just seemed to be living up to that curmudgeon, grump, playing the part.
Yeah.
And my take, that's why I started listening to Good Show, to be honest. Started listening to their podcast. And also, they made me start to feel like younger. And it's funny because I would, the easiest way for me to define which show I was listening to is you listen to the music, the in and outs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoever's producing the music for the primetime, whoever's producing Good Show, the music itself dictated. You could go, you can see who the demo is. But McCowan just seemed, I don't know, he was like, because he was trying to play the part to me of being that curmudgeon.
Yeah.
It just seemed like he was being mean, and I was not perceiving anymore the likable part and then when people made fun, and I don't know. You're right though. It's a fine line because then I started to go, he just seems like he's being an asshole now for no reason.
Yeah, and that's not good.
No.
And look, I'm not going to argue with your perception. Like as a listener, if that's how you felt, yeah, that's not great.
Right.
You don't want that.
Yeah. And every time anybody would disagree with him or call him on his lack of preparation, that sounds like I'm beating up on the guy here, but just actually listening to these younger guys talk about, they're so prepared and they're so informed and they're so into their sports that I can see the difference now or hear the difference. And I don't know, it started like you do have choices, right? You have choices.
Yeah. And it's look, and the demographic thing is interesting because you can't, there's still a huge population bulge in the boomer, that are now 70 and down, right? And so they're not that's not really the sweet spot anymore. But you can't pretend to be what you're not. There's nothing worse than old guys trying to act like young guys. It doesn't work, right?
I know that feeling.
But you want to be like, you just don't want again, I think it's a danger just to play the nostalgia card too and kind of the good old days stuff and talk about things that happened before people were born. You're not going to be relevant. So it's a fine line. Like again, I think you want to live in the world and still be kind of current.
Yeah.
But
I found that you always did that on that show. You just like that take right there. You would literally go, well, that was, and then you'd try to make some reference to today, and then he would talk about and I love history, and I love the history of sports. I love the history of media and everything else, and I have respect for it. But man, these references that are so ridiculously dated, I'm like, who cares about what you did and who you talked to 30 years ago?
Well, you got to watch it. Like one of the advantages the newspaper guys had going into broadcast, people in my gig, and it was that, look, the reason we did it was to make some extra dough. Those newspapers didn't pay very well.
Right.
But, those of us who kind of lived through those glory years of newspapering and sports, we went everywhere, right? We saw stuff. We talked to people. We met people.
Right.
We had experience. Now, I feel for some of the, the younger guys broadcasting now, you're right, they can prepare their asses off, right? Mm-hmm. But they haven't been anywhere, done anything, because no one's going to pay them to go and be there. And we rode on someone else's ticket. Yeah. We saw the world. And we experienced stuff, so I can tell you what it's like to, sit at the, finish line of the 100 meters at the Olympic Games, or to be at a big prize fight, or, to be at the World Series, or what it was like after, sports after the first days after 9/11 in New York, or, a bunch of things where that's in my head, right? And I got to live it. But you can't just do your greatest hits, and you can't just do nostalgia. You can't say, well, I remember. It's great fodder, and it informs your opinion and informs your take on things, and sometimes it's great to be able to say but you can't live there. Like I don't, if I did a show about what it was like covering sports in the 90s or the 80s or the aughts or whatever, it's not relevant. Like watching this Raptors thing play out, that's different. Yeah. Like I covered the Jays in 92, 93. This is different because you know why? Because now's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything's different.
Yeah.
I heard Bob saying that, well, all those people down to celebrate, it's just a bunch of kids partying. Well, yeah, but who else is going to stand outside for hours and hours and hours? And
Right.
But that doesn't make it insignificant.
No.
It actually makes it significant.
Of course.
It's a cultural moment, right?
Of course. But I get how, and I'm just as guilty with the Raptors thing. I became a huge Raptors fan. We can talk about that because this is kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of basketballs and stuff all around just because I thought we'd talk about it. Just for you.
Just thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know you're a big basketball guy, though.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good at it. I'm a talented basketball player.
You play with a very elite group of players. I know that. Yeah.
Kill them.
Yeah.
Talk
yeah.
more shit than anybody could ever imagine. But I can kill them too, though. I'm good. These guys, all these kids.
Kids.
Yeah. They're crossover dribble is a joke. Anyways, that's another show too. But I became a huge fan when in 2001, my show here, I'm going to literally be guilty as charged as what you just said, what you can't do. But my TV show went on the air in 2001. And my second guest ever was JYD from the Junkyard Dog from the Raptors. And he was just blowing up then. He'd become like the most popular player on the team.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really funny how my girlfriend, we flew him in on points. And but I won't digress that far. But it's a hilarious story how we got him on the show and how we got him there and how we almost didn't get him back. And he was just the sweetest guy in the world. He spent the entire day with me. We ended up becoming, great, kind of good friends.
Yeah.
My most fondest Raptor moment is when our girlfriend and I we got courtside at a game. And then it was like the next season, and JYD did one of those cliche kind of came over and big hug to us both, and everybody's like,
who's this guy?
Who's that?
Yeah, who's that guy? Yeah.
My show would just be on the air, so
that's pretty great.
Feeling pretty good about
Yeah,
myself.
I guess that's not bad. Yeah.
And it was also though when they had that big run, so it was Raptor Mania a little bit. That
Yes.
was the most exciting time to be a Raptors fan up until now, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like there's been, some peaks and valleys, obviously, but. Look, I felt good for the basketball guys, watching this thing play out. Like it was their moment, right?
Yeah.
And they've been saying, "See, look, it's there," But it's of the things I've seen, it's right up there in terms of kind of everybody caring about the same thing at the same time. Your mom's asking you about basketball, that kind of stuff. Like it did.
Are you a basketball fan?
To a point. Like it's not. I don't know much I watched growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
I covered a lot of it over the years.
Yeah. Were you covering it back in 2001?
All the early Raptor stuff.
So that was a big deal, though,
right?
It
was. Oh, it was a big deal. I was there for the Vince series. When Butch Carter was coaching, the clanking it off the back of the rim. That whole phase. The battle over the ownership of the team between Beethoven and Alan Slate, getting the arena built, the kind of the gong show during those years that people forget about a little bit now.
Yeah, of course they do.
the games in the Dome going back, I was there for those.
Those were how many games did they? The whole season did they?
Yeah, they played. I'm trying to remember which year they opened that arena.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I remember seeing it was so horrible.
Oh,
I
it was
remember
awful.
seeing it, and we were sitting way up, and it was so boring to us, and I was so uninterested. And the mascot walked up to where we were because it was like dope, right? They were like you're so far away, right? And the mascot fell, and he did a lipper way down the stairs, and we'd all been drinking, and now we're like, that's the entertainment we're looking for. But it was the only interesting thing that.
But
happened.
we didn't cover it much. Like even it just wasn't that relevant, for the Globe. I was looking. I've got some, I got all my media passes strewn all over the house. I remember, so I was covering an Orlando, Indiana playoff series when Shaq was playing in Orlando.
Right.
So that, I'm trying to think what year that would have been. But that would have been, I must have just been there for some other reason.
Right.
And just did it. Yeah, they wouldn't never have sent me to that.
Right.
I covered lots of it. But I also see that, what's growing and what's shrinking in terms of sports. Like if I was betting on, I've said this a million times in the last 2 months, and I would have said it before the Raptors run, that, if I was betting on the future of two sports, I'd bet on soccer and basketball in this country. They're the ones that are going to grow.
Everybody keeps saying, since I've been a kid, people have been saying that soccer.
But it has. But if you look at the ratings for the last World Cup, and in Canada, again, Canada's not been in a World Cup. You look at the ratings for the current Women's World Cup.
Right.
If you look at what the Champions League does and the Premiership does, it's happened.
Really?
Yeah, it has happened. And it's going to grow. And it's going to continue to grow. And basketball is going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And hockey is going to shrink.
Yeah?
It's just going to.
You think?
Yeah, I do. If the Leafs win, then that'll be a big deal, or another Canadian team wins. But I think the hockey audience is shrinking. I think the other audiences are growing.
Well, the ratings were bigger than, clearly bigger than the Stanley Cup and stuff, probably, right?
Yeah, but because the Stanley Cup, by the time you get to it, it's but it doesn't have any local pull.
Yeah.
They're if the Jays had gone to the World Series in 2015 or 2016,
right?
It's that kind of number.
I find with basketball, though, just because of the personalities and how they let people have personalities, that makes a difference.
It does.
In the court, you can see. I love one of my favorite things to do watching a game is just I'll stop and rewind everything. I love watching just the interaction of players and fans and interactions that I can see in kind of almost behind the scenes or whatever to see
100%.
to get my take on what I think about a certain player.
Yeah, no helmets and faces and individual stars can dominate and all of those things are.
They can chirp to fans and everything. You don't get anything like that in
people
hockey,
can
right?
play. It's accessible. It's a sport you can play. You don't have to have money.
Yeah.
So and that's like soccer.
Yeah.
So again, I think but again, there's a shift in my working lifetime. In this country, when I started pre-Raptors, basketball was not even an afterthought here. The Olympic tournament in Sydney, the Steve Nash Olympic, that was a big deal. Canada, that Steve Nash team, the first dream team in Barcelona, I covered that in '92.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
But basketball would just occasionally get in. Now, it's right there.
Yeah.
Soccer is right there, and Now, again, I think people here in Southern Ontario, sometimes you don't really understand what people are thinking in Saskatchewan or Newfoundland.
But
a lot more people out there watching
the country,
hockey.
though, right?
It did. Yeah, it did.
Sincerely,
it did. Yeah, no, it was legit. You can't get those kind of numbers unless people are watching everywhere. Crazy. And that's the one thing I didn't. That was the one thing I was going to say. Okay, this is the 416-905 thing. Will it? And the TV ratings had always suggested that no matter what happened, all during the season, they only go so far.
Yeah.
And you say, well, that's because it's just Toronto.
Yeah.
But. It blew up.
Yeah.
Now, what that means next year, who knows?
Yeah, right.
But
because they won't have Kawhi.
But it was the thing, man, and it's I don't have a real point of comparison. So, if I start to try and compare it to things that happened 25 years ago, I'd be wrong.
Right. Yeah. Do you you don't think Kawhi's going to be back? Do you?
Don't know. No,
I do. I know.
Yeah.
I'll bet you anything. Or do you bet at all?
No, I never have.
Do any of your peers are betting people?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't do it.
Because you could be such a degenerate if you you made your living off of sports and then bet on it.
Well,
right?
yeah, because then you pretend you know stuff which you don't really know.
Yeah,
that could be.
I know though. I will take any bet from anybody at any odds. What did I give Corey? I gave Corey 7-1.
That he's gone?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll give you anything.
Okay.
If you were a betting man, I was going to say I'll bet you anything.
Really?
I know for a fact. Well, in my mind.
Yes. I don't know.
Come on. How can you honestly?
He doesn't give a lot away.
This is what, you're a smart guy.
Yeah, I don't.
You have opinions about sports.
He'd make more money here. He could sign here for a year. He could do a short-term deal. It'll be risky. Let's see what happened to Durant.
Do you really believe that there's a 2% chance he could stay?
Yeah,
he's going to stay.
Yeah, I think there's a chance because he's making more money. Making way more money here.
So he's the one guy that I think, everybody cares about money.
Yeah.
But he's already, I don't know. Again, I guess I don't know this part, but he's going to make lots and lots and lots of money.
Yeah, but no,
how much more can he make staying here?
A lot more.
How much
because
more?
Of the cap. Well, I'll have to go back. How's your capology? But they can give him a max deal here that they can't. It's a significant amount of money. It's like $10 million more you make.
That's nothing to him.
Well, $10 million is still something to everybody, even if you got a lot. That's one thing I've learned. We all say, well, that's, how much? What, you really need those extra millions? Everybody wants those extra millions.
But everybody says he hasn't said anything. But the one thing he has said, the only thing he's said, is that he just doesn't like the weather. And everybody says, yeah, big deal.
Yeah.
But don't you, how do you feel about the weather?
I think the weather's fine. But
You do?
I'm not. It's not a huge concern.
If you had your choice to live somewhere warm and wake up in January and put on shorts and just kind of walk out and go, breathe, like look at the sunshine and want to live another day.
Yeah, I don't know. I think 4 seasons are okay. But
You do still?
yeah, when we didn't get spring this year, it wasn't that great.
Right.
Yeah. So but no, look, I honestly think no one knows with him.
Except
We'll
for
see.
me.
Except for you. So by the time this, they put this in the time capsule, and if you're right, you can haul this out.
I don't know anything in the whole world other than this.
Okay.
Because he's got a wife and a child.
Mm-hmm.
You think that they want to live in cold climate Canada instead of going home where they're from, where life is good in one of the nicest cities in North America?
Yep.
And he can. And back to basketball. Oh, don't even get me started with this.
Okay.
So I'm just finished the thought though, and then I'll move on because you're going to get me riled.
I don't want to do that.
He did the proverbial drop the mic when they won this championship.
Yep.
He can't accomplish anything greater in Toronto ever again. He came here, he did what he said. Load management guys like me that were ripping on him and hating him for it all year long. He proved me wrong, and I had to respect him now. I have to say he's right. I have to say that especially when these other guys all break down, it was like perfect. Everything he said, everything he did, the run, it's just perfect.
That's true.
You can't. Even if he wins next year, stay in the Raptors, it wouldn't.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
It's so perfect. You just go bye-bye Kawhi, and you go back home, and then you spend the next 5 years, and if he could ever win one more with a third team and get another MVP, he literally would go down as one of the great NBA players of all time.
He's on Mount Rushmore, yeah.
Whereas if he stays here, what's he here to accomplish? To win more? He's won.
Yeah, no, you're right. Look, I don't. That's actually a pretty compelling argument. But he could come back and win next year. If they put it back together again, they got a shot.
But it wouldn't.
Maybe, yeah, no,
it'd be like, they won again.
Yeah, no, it's a sequel, right? It's a sequel then.
Right.
Yeah.
And whereas in his mind, he goes, if I go home, first of all, and to a place I'd rather be.
Yeah.
Like, just from my family perspective and have them build something around me. And it's so perfect that he could be like the little brother to the Lakers. And it fits him so well. Not that I know him, but it fits who he perceives to be so well. To be like, no, I'm not about that. I'm not about that. And then if they win before the Lakers, he literally becomes one of the greatest NBA players.
Yeah.
For that reason.
No,
also.
that's a reasonable. Again, but I will. I'm not going to read his mind because I can't. No one can. But it's not a bad argument. It's not
and
a
it
bad
turns
argument.
out he is a fun guy.
He seems to be. Yeah. Again, who knows? Like, honest to God, I don't know anybody who covers that sport who has any clue what he's like.
Yeah. But I mean, as soon as he won, this is the other part that I have to respect for him. And again, I could do a whole hour just on Kawhi, I think, right now. Like, did you see the Ibaka tweet where Ibaka asked him what he's eating, and he's like, did you see that? Or you're not on social media, so you don't know. And he says, he goes, I'm only drinking alcohol and eating dessert for the rest of the summer. And then he laughs, and Ibaka cracks up. Like, he's actually fun guy.
It sounds like the other guys like him. Yeah.
Like he was, and he's dancing, and he's in Niagara Falls. And it turns out that this focused, robotic, empty soul of a man was just a guy who, what he said he was, which was focused, professional, getting the job done. And now that he did the job, he does have a person. He's everything in sports today. You can contest to this more than me. It's all a cliche, and everybody lives the cliche, and most of them aren't true to anything that they want you to perceive to be. He might be the only sports athlete, maybe Curry, left that is everything you want a sports icon to be.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he does the job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does the job. Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, there's not. I think what you see is that's him.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Yeah, that's not a marketing campaign. That's the guy.
It's inspiring a little bit.
Yeah, what's interesting? I think he's just because he kind of goes against the grain now in a way, and I think it's been interesting watching people trying to figure him out for a year. I think they're still trying to figure him out.
Right.
So yeah.
And then but he stayed the course on that too. He just was like, and then the other thing, and I'll get off this because we can talk about so many other things. But, and we haven't even played Battleship yet. It's a good idea, and I wanted to, but now I'm all worked up. Him and Lowry in an interview with, I forget her name, she does the ABC broadcast. with Rose and those guys.
Doris Burke or?
No, not Doris Burke. She does the panel.
Yeah.
I forget her name. And she did an interview an hour after they won the championship. And Lowry and Kawhi referred twice in the interview. This is the minutiae stuff that I love. I just try to figure this all out because it's just fun. It's fun to be a fan, right? That's the fun of being a fan still. You get to figure stuff out and talk about it with your friends and everything else.
Yep.
And they referred twice to something that happened. They said, Kawhi was saying that this is a real team. This is a great team because something happened, they said, that no one ever knew about and nobody ever will. And they referred to it twice for some reason about something so significant that happened this year that no one other than the team knows about. What do you think that was?
I do not know.
But what could it be?
I don't know. Honest to God, I don't.
What could be so catastrophic that would happen that they made that big a deal about that? Doesn't that pique your...
Yeah, I have no idea. Honest to God.
But what could it be, Brunt? You of all people could tell me something what you think.
I honestly, that...
Don't you like to make all this stuff up?
I could. Yeah, I try to avoid the making stuff up part. That's up in my game.
Is that because that's the journalist in you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So does it affect you being a fan? Because see, a fan like me is going to make up all this stuff and talk about this.
You're not a fan the same way. You're not a fan the same way if you cover stuff. You can't be.
Right.
It takes it out of you a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Does it?
You can't be. Yeah.
Does it make it less fun?
You watch stuff differently. Like I still enjoy going to sports and stuff, but I don't watch it the same way a fan does, and I'm real quiet. And like I can still enjoy it. But it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the same. Yeah, that's like
That sucks, kind of, right?
You just got to you have to kind of still understand how fans feel when you're writing about it or talking about it. You have to understand that even if it's, it's a job for you to a point that people feel something. And you got to kind of go with that and understand it. And that's a bit of a dance because guys get, kind of crusty and I've seen it all and done it all and, just want this to be over so I can get my story done and go, that's natural. It's a job, right?
Right.
And I think, one of the things is a bit of a challenge is to make sure you can still be in the moment. And still, when something like happens, like just happened, that you could kind of go, man, this is something, this is really cool. And allow it to kind of wash over you in a way that you would as a fan. But it's a bit of a dance. Like press boxes are not lively places. People don't cheer in the press box. The guys are doing a job.
Yeah.
Working the deadlines. It's hard.
Right.
And it's hard, and you're processing what you're seeing and trying to turn it into something. And that's different than eating popcorn and drinking beer. It just is. So yeah, it's a funny little dance we do in the business.
It's funny. I guess it's true. I'm thinking right now why I'm a fan of what you do, and why I don't know if fan is the right word, but that sounds cool. But I respect and appreciate and like to listen to you. And I'm kind of dumb, so I don't read as much as I should. So I like listening to you a lot and reading you sometimes. And I think you have a good voice in the radio and all that too, and you have a good presence. So that we could get into back to the Stern and all that stuff later, but we don't probably run out of time. We'll save that for another pod.
Yes.
But when I do listen to you though, it's true. I believe everything you say. My friends and I talk about you. They're all very excited that I'm doing this because they know we know each other and we
nice.
hang and stuff. But I said, no, this is going to be like an interview. I'm going to sit down and I don't know, you know what I mean? Who knows where we're going. And then I've got a million texts about everything I'm supposed to ask you and stuff. And all that's out the window now. Sorry, guys. Sorry, fellas. But we all listen to you as somebody who knows or has an opinion, has done research. I think you do a lot of research.
I just read stuff. Like I
You seem to know what you're talking about.
Stuff. Yeah, like I don't, but I'm just kind of out there in the world.
But
like,
I'll quote you a lot. I'll quote things you say and make it my own. And I assume I have faith in what you've said or done. So to some aspect, I suppose if you're the true professional like I know you to be, You know how you have an accountability to me because
Well-
I'm saying stuff that you've said, and I believe that you've done the proper research.
Well,
and,
and like it's not like I'm not wrong. I'm wrong all the time, right? Like but if I say something, I believe it, and and sometimes it's because I have talked to somebody, or I have. Yeah, I say stuff that I believe. I'm a journalist. I know there's a performance aspect to what I do,
Right.
and that's not journalism. That's different. This is not like being a journalist. But I come from a journalistic background. I'm a reporter, and a writer.
Right.
And I would like to think that if I have an opinion, and again, that's why sometimes my opinions aren't going to be hot takes.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, you're
I'm
not a hot take guy, really, are you?
No, it's not.
I don't think you are.
No, like there'll be some stuff I can get. Like I'll have a very definite opinion about things, and But if I'm not the first guy that's going to yell fire the coach. Because I wouldn't do that. That's it's the cheapest thing in the world, right? Any idiot can say that. Fire the coach. Fire the coach. Guys want to be the 1st. Fire the coach. That's almost always the wrong answer.
Was it wrong to fire Casey?
Like I say, it's not wrong to fire a coach per se, but I'm just saying it's not. It's the cheap and easy version of it, right? That. Get rid of this guy, fire that guy. And I always think, look, number one, they're human beings. It's a job, right? And no one likes to be, and they get hired and rehired, but no one wants to lose their job. No one wants to get fired. It's horrible. It's humiliating. Talk to any of these guys who've been fired, and you get fired publicly.
Yeah.
Right? It sucks. If you get to know these guys a little bit as human beings, I like when the Jays moved on from John Gibbons. I love John Gibbons, but it was time.
You had a good relationship with him, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
that
I did,
helps
and I
your
do.
job
I still
too,
do.
right?
Yeah.
That probably helps your job, though, too. Is there any of that?
He's just a decent guy, right?
Yeah.
And I got to know him as a guy, and we trust each other, right? You get in a trust relationship with people, and that helps. So I know things, but I'm not going to betray his trust.
No.
But that's that's what reporting is. It's talking to people and having normal interactions, but being trustworthy too, right? You need to kind of know, when's the time, and sometimes, I've talked to some of my comrades about this who are in the same boat. Sometimes stuff that will come out as kind of informed speculation on the radio is actually something but you're not going to say because you can't say why
Sure.
But if you say, well, I think this is what, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but it might be this. It's because that's going to happen because
Right.
someone told you that.
Yeah.
But you can't out them.
Right.
Right? But it's human interaction. And Dwayne Casey, he wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
LeBron James was the problem.
Right.
And if he'd had this team this year, he probably would have won.
Yeah.
He's a good coach and a good man.
Yeah. I don't know,
Yeah.
though. So I believe that, too. And then I don't know if he would have done the box and won.
He might not have done that. Who knows, right?
Do you know what I mean?
But Nick, people were skeptical of Nick at times this year, and he seems like I don't know him as well.
Yeah.
Seems like a decent guy.
Are you a LeBron fan?
I think he's. I just think he's one of those. Generational. We will not see his again, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just.
Your boy Jeff there. That you do
Yeah.
little plug to a little podcast you guys do.
The Lead, yeah.
What did I say? The Ledge? The Lead.
Lead, yeah.
Which means what? Bury the lead,
It's
right?
the beginning, yeah. The beginning of a story in the newspaper, the Lead, yeah.
He loves.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think LeBron's. Yeah, again, I think we'll look back
know.
and say he's a crazy great athlete. Like could do things that very few humans have been able to do.
Yeah. I don't like him at all.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to like him, but but as I say that, look, yeah, Dwayne, they wanted a sea change there. Now, if the Kawhi deal doesn't happen, then and you give Nick Nurse, DeMar, and Kyle's try and win.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think and you don't have LeBron there. Can you beat Milwaukee with that team? Can you beat Philadelphia with that team? I don't know.
Here, tell me if I'm right about this. Okay. So this is my one thing. The other thing I know, just like I know Kawhi's not coming back. The thing I know, and it's kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say this in a mean way, but my whole take with DeRozan was, and he publicly talked about how he struggled with, some, how do you say it nicely? Like emotional problems or security. Just how do you say it nice?
Yeah, no, I think he had some, and some guys have talked. There, other athletes have talked about that too,
Yeah.
right? They have this. They go through the same stuff other humans do, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he had
Yep.
talked about that. And my take on it was that it was so real and so significant that I couldn't imagine feeling like that or having to endure that in life, and then having such a big spotlight on you at different times where you have to be everything that you're not in a certain moment, the pressure would be
Yeah, I know. I think it would be incredibly hard.
impossible.
And I think we don't take into account sometimes that these guys are that they're frail, just like everybody else is. They have extraordinary physical gifts, these guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes just because they won the genetic lottery, they all, they work hard, but everybody works hard, right? People work hard at different things, but a lot of them are, they're just born that way, right?
Yeah. I used to watch Lowry. Lowry used to stand right beside him during interviews and stuff. Like literally, this is the stuff I would love to watch. Just kind of whatever, figure things out for myself. But just behind the scenes, I wish there was just a camera over top of it all. And he used to stand. They did all their interviews together.
Yep.
He used to stand on the court like about 4 feet away, almost in my opinion. What do I know? But I know what I think I know. And he was almost like, I got you, I'm right here, I'm right here.
No, I think they were, and I think there was something of that to that relationship. Yeah, I think you're right.
And I think that in the end, because Lowry is who he is, he spent some of his effort and some of his energy and some of his focus on taking care of and supporting his
they were obviously,
brother.
Yeah, I think there was, again, you saw that closeness, right? When he, when the trade was made, you saw how it affected him.
Well, I think as a friend, like back to humans and back to, I think he was worried for his friend.
Yeah.
Like you're going to go off.
DeMar went and had a nice year, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But the trade, it let Lowry, I think, not have to worry about anybody but himself this year.
That's a good, I think it was tough for him, and I think it took them time to figure some stuff out there. But no arguing with the result, right?
Yeah,
no arguing with the result.
It's extraordinary though, right? How it all played, how even the injuries and everything. I don't think that they could have beat them at full strength. Do you?
I don't think they beat him when Kevin Durant plays, but that's
Kevin Durant comes back and he hits 3 threes in a row and then goes down.
But it doesn't matter. You play the team that's in front of you.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So it's not an asterisk.
Yeah.
But that'll be forever debated.
Yeah.
And you're asking me if Klay Thompson plays the whole series and Kevin Durant plays the whole series. I think they probably win. You probably don't beat them, but that wasn't the team they was put in front of them, and they beat the guys they're put in front of them.
Oh, and in 5 years, nobody will care.
In a year, no one will care.
Right.
No, they won. It's for real, and they were a great team. And
I wish they won in Toronto, though. I wanted Curry to hit the shot.
No, that would have been fun, but
it would have been the best. It would have been the most.
But
epic.
still, look, this is one. File that one away. That's a lifetime thing.
Where were you watching the game? How did you watch the games?
I was at home.
Yeah.
And I watched it at home. I was in the comfort of my own home that night. I wasn't working at the rink. I was doing, and if you're doing radio till 7, you just, the easiest thing to do is just get in the car, get back to Hamilton, settle in, and watch it here. I was going to go out to watch the game 6 in town here, and then all the bars were full. And,
I don't like it.
And I'd have to talk to people.
Yeah.
So I actually was quite happy just to watch it on my own.
And especially you.
Yeah, people are cool.
People would love to talk to you about sports.
But people are cool generally. They don't bug you that much. It's not like, and again,
I would bug you.
If I was dressed like this, no one would know who I was anyway, right?
No, but you're the I don't know. You that's what you do for a living. People listen to you on the radio every day. Well, of course, they want to talk to you about the sports, and you're just trying to watch the game.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's a small price to pay. It's a good gig, and occasionally, people come up to me at Fortino's or something, want to talk about the Leafs. But that's I'm not. You can ask me.
Do you like people?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, people are nice. People are like, that's the whole thing. I find people are generally way more polite and deferential than, people complain about, and again, I'm not like, this is a subset of a subset of a subset, but if you're on TV, like people might recognize you, right?
Yeah.
But I find people are generally really nice.
Yeah.
Even, like they're jerks on social media, but they're nice in person. People can turn into, they're everybody's apparently, not that I'm there, but
How come you're not there?
Well,
you're not there at all, right?
okay, I'm going to do something here. I have to look at this because I just,
How long have we been going? Are we good?
We got about another 10 minutes, okay? Because then honest to God. And then we'll pick this up again. I'm not there because I didn't have to be early in my career because I was already established and because my thought had always been that what I do is not me. Like that if I write a story or if I'm on a show, that's the thing, that's not me. And I put the thing out there, and people can react to the thing in any way they want. But there's a separation here. I'm creating something that is separate from me. And so you can like it or not like it or whatever you want to do. But I think that's the distance. I'm not the product. I'm not the product. And so I didn't want that direct interaction. I think it should be kind of arm's length. And again, people can love or hate what I do and react to it. In the old days, they used to write letters, or phone you and then email you and that. But Twitter became a whole other thing, especially Twitter, that guys were kind of living on there and that became them. That was you. You're not a Twitter persona necessarily. That's you.
Yeah.
And I'm okay being a little bit distant. People get enough of me. I'm all over the place. If they're interested in what I do, they can find it. I don't need to market myself. Again, if I was 20 or 30, yeah, I'd do it.
So you don't feel at all like, because you do believe, I do think you're somebody who's like I am, getting older.
Yeah.
But we're still, we both kind of hang out with people sometimes that are younger than us and everything, so we're in touch with it.
Oh yeah, and I get it. I get it. I know people love it for news. It's the first place where news breaks. I get that stuff. But in terms of I don't want to be sitting there in a restaurant at 10 o'clock at night thinking, oh man, I better engage with this. No, I don't want to engage with that. I want to stop. I want to be apart from that.
Yeah.
I'm not on stage now. And it's it swallows people up. And becoming a great Twitter person, I guess that's a stock and trade. I guess that's something that's good. And again, it's good for your brand. I get that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have hot takes on Twitter. And I don't.
But it doesn't have to be that. Well, you could just say, hey, did a fun podcast thing with JRDiGS today.
Well, and again, if I was brand building, I'd do it.
Yeah.
But by the time it came along, my brand was what it was, right? It was what it was going to be.
Like, you have a good brand.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It is, and it's great, and it's served me really well. And I kind of know, but I know what I do.
Why don't we start a Twitter thing for you and an Instagram thing, and it's just mostly just how you're not on it.
There would be a couple of fake ones that they had to take down.
Why don't I create one for you?
No fake ones. No, I don't want to.
Why? What if you send me an occasional picture once a week?
An occasional photo.
And I'll just do the work for you.
See, I'm happy. I am the happiest guy in the world not being on that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to intrude him.
Like in a counterculture way almost?
No, I just don't. I kind of like the fact that there's a huge hunk of my life that is not that.
Yeah.
And then there's a huge hunk of my life that is not on the radio and that is not public.
Right.
And I can do whatever the hell I want, and go fishing. And but I don't want to send a picture of me going fishing. I can go to Newfoundland. I don't want to send a picture of me in Newfoundland. I want to live. I want to just separate, and I think that's healthier.
Yeah.
For me,
it is.
There's for some people, I get it, and
I can't resist it though. I feel like if I don't, then I'm not doing myself a service.
But again, I think if I was doing what you're doing, I would do it too.
Yeah.
I just think for me, and again, maybe I'm in a unique spot that I didn't have to.
Yeah.
And no one forced me to, because they could have, and so I was able to kind of resist it, and not because I'm a Luddite, it's not because I'm like a guy resists change and
a Luddite.
Yeah, I'm not one of these.
I want to try to learn new words.
Well, that's a good word.
Luddite.
Like I'm not an old guy saying I want to dial up rotary phone, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not. No, we in my business we were all early adapters on technology. We were the first guys to have laptops. We were early.
Oh
adapters.
yeah, I guess so, right?
Yeah, but this to me it was kind of like the one step too far for me, and I didn't have to. And again, I've never regretted it. Like,
and how are people going to find out what you're like? Just they're going to find you right on the radio, on TV.
Yeah.
In the newspaper.
Yeah, I'm where I am. I'm on the Sportsnet.
You got a new book on the way?
Sportsnet.ca. I'm working with Brian Burke on his book right now. Which is
Do you like Brian Burke?
I do. I like him a lot.
How did he choose you? He chose you, right?
Yeah, he did.
I know how he chose you. I mean,
I've done books with people.
You've got a pretty good reputation.
We're different guys, but we disagree about a lot of stuff.
You seem to like each other on the radio.
I really do. I respect him. Yeah.
He seems to be he's good at that too, isn't he?
He's become really good. Yeah. He's become a really good broadcaster. But he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
It's a compelling story. A lot of compelling stories. There's a ton of stuff there, and I'm having a ball. I'm really enjoying it.
So how does that work? You talk to him a bunch, you follow him around?
Yeah, we talk a lot. He's written some stuff that I've used as a base. I sit down with him a bunch. We kind of I try and get his voice, down in the book, and it's there's a lot of material. You know, he's had a really interesting life.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that.
Will that be your next book then?
Yeah, probably.
How many
That'd be
books
it.
have you had?
Oh, a dozen or so, I think. You know,
Yeah,
but they're
eh?
all different. Like, no, some of them are, some of them are like this, where I'm doing somebody else's book. Some of them are mine.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
But I'll continue to write, and I will continue to write, do stuff for the website.
Yeah.
Keep doing radio. You know,
Yeah,
and
please.
again, I think a lot of it's going to morph into stuff like this. Like
Do more of this though, right? Like do more of this.
What this show? This
Yeah,
specific?
this specifically, you and I. No, because I know I'm probably gonna have to let you go here because you're literally
I
are
literally
packing
gotta go.
up.
Yeah,
right?
I gotta go. I gotta get my
heading
haircut. I
early.
gotta pack the car. I gotta have a shower.
So I want to try to be respectful, but I
Yeah.
could talk to you for.
Well, I'll come back. You know where to find me.
I literally
I'm
could-
in
there's so
in the
much
hood
I
here,
haven't
man.
talked about.
Yeah, well, let's do it. There's there's lots, right?
And I admire very much what you do.
Thanks, man.
I really do. Like
Wow.
aside from being friends and getting to know you personally, like I said, then has been nice for me to because there is sometimes a difference between the guy on stage, right, and the real
this has
person.
been cool. And I'll tell you that I December 23rd is my favorite day of the year.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
We do it.
That is such a great
Christmas concert.
perfect, beautiful thing you've
that I
done
do.
there. And let's talk about that next time.
Yeah,
okay?
we'll do a whole pod about that.
We can.
But I really do appreciate you doing this.
Oh, man.
And
Happy
I
to
know
do
that
it.
you're really busy right now. And just know that while you're driving, how long is it going to take you to drive?
3 days.
2 of those 3 days, I'm going to be thinking about you and all the things I didn't get to talk to you about. I mean, it's fun. We can talk all the time and everything, but it's fun to capture it though, like this.
No,
Because I can't take our personal conversations or things that we might do with a beer in our hand. But this, you have no choice. Like I haven't put this
I know,
out.
I'm surrounded here, right?
They're like there they are, right? And so this was a pleasure for me.
Oh, it's been fun for me too. So next time I'll have a shower and not wear a hat.
No, I like this is like, but this is you.
Well, it's me today, right? Yeah.
But no, this is you most
well, it's
days.
me kicking around the neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, isn't that what it's like? So you talk about social media and everything else. This is your Frank Turner,
My Frank Turner shirt, yeah.
hoodie.
Yeah.
Who's and then man, we could talk about music. There's so many things.
Well, let's do it.
But for now, do me a favor and say sincere goodbye to everybody, right?
See everybody, and thank you, JR, for inviting me to this lovely space. And I didn't know I was going to be on the camera, but that's very cool. And we'll see you in September. We'll do it again. Okay, man.
That was the end.